Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Silence is golden. Words are vibrations.
Thoughts are magic.
Good morning, Night Vale.
Good morning, Night Vale. It's me, Meg Bashwiner, your tra-host, which is short for tri-host, here with you today.
And I'm Symphony, another third of our thruple who plays Tamika Flynn.
And I'm Hal Lublin, the third part of the Thrumvirate. I play Steve Carlsberg. And we are here. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. You got a few episodes to catch up on, but it's okay. That's what we do here. We catch up on episodes. We recap Night Vale episode by episode, starting with the pilot. You can go back and listen to the first 7 episodes. You're on 8 with us right now. This is Good Morning, the Lights in Radon Canyon. Symphony, tell them what it's about.
So this episode description is mysterious lights and sounds are coming from Radon Canyon. Plus, tips on how to win the town lottery. Our newest incorporeal school board member and the abandoned mine shaft finally gets HBO.
That's a lot for us to talk about. Super exciting, super exciting. So we have our work cut out for us. What are our initial reactions to this episode?
I love
All right, so...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The glow cloud. I'm sorry, were we both going to talk about the glow cloud and how much we love it?
I was going to talk about Carlos and Cecil and how much I love that.
Oh, that is also adorbs. I can see why people, grew such a quick affinity for Celios as a couple, because you really are like getting transported through the early parts of any relationship when you're so excited about like seeing the person and hearing what they have to say and all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love watching love blossom.
Yeah, and Cecil kind of hanging on every encounter of being like, just open that door just a little bit, just crack open that door and let me in, give me something to grab onto, which is, it's sweet. It's a sweet little through line throughout this episode. There's a lot of stuff I love that it starts out with the lottery, which is like kind of a throw to the Shirley Jackson, the lottery, which was I did a stage production of that in high school of the play The Lottery. So you can learn a lot about peer pressure.
I don't think I've ever read that. What is it about? I don't know that play.
So it's about a town that has an annual lottery, and if I'm remembering this correctly, if you draw the short straw, then everyone in town has to stone you to death.
Oh,
yeah, it's a short. It was originally a short story that you don't know in the end what the lot. Everybody's excited about the lottery until somebody wins it, and then it's very Twilight Zone-ish. It's like the reveal of the winner gets killed by stoning. How long of a play was it, though? I wasn't even aware a play version existed.
I believe it was a one act.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I think we did it in competition. I think just really leaning into those themes.
One of the early Moonshine Hollers from Thrilling Adventure Hour was based on Shirley Jackson's The Lottery.
Oh.
In which they use the stone in the end. Instead of killing, they make a stone soup with it. So it all turns out, spoiler alert, that came out like 100 years ago.
I know. I was like, sometimes you're just like, okay, spoiler alerts. Like, if it's 9 years later, friend, like,
yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yes, 100%.
So if you get a blank white piece of paper, you're fine. But if you get a purple piece of paper, that means that you are going to be ceremoniously disemboweled and eaten by one of the wolves at the Night Vale Petting Zoo and Makeshift Carnival.
That's a way to go.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you were to be eaten by wolves, like, do you think that would be a really bad way to die? I think so.
Yes. I think about that a lot because sometimes I go running, but I never encountered wolves because they're not really here anymore, but like coyotes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the other day I went running and there was a dead rabbit in the road and I was like, oh, it's a bummer. And then I came back from my run and I saw, as I was coming over the hill, I was like, there's something eating that rabbit that has 4 legs, but I was too far away to see what it was. And I was like, please don't be a coyote. Please don't be a coyote. Because I have to like run by you and you're like a feral animal. It was a cat.
The cat was eating it?
It was an adorable little kitten that just like bounded at me with like half a rabbit in its mouth and went off into the woods. And I was like, you stay great, little cat. You do it.
Look,
you get rid of that bunny for us.
That makes me think of like all of those like Planet Earth video like movies where it's like always like, that animal that is going to feed them or they're going to stay fit off of that for like a couple of weeks. Maybe they don't get that much food. And like, what do you have by you? Like mice and stuff that are smaller than it. It's lucky to get that roadkill. And they're doing a public service.
Yeah, I mean, living out here in the country, you get a lot of lessons about the circle of life. And I'll say, I see roadkill a lot, but it does not last long. Like, seriously, I'll go for a run and I will come back 40 minutes later and it will be gone. Because it's like the birds, there's like lots of turkey vultures, and then there's the other birds, and then there's the cats and the coyotes, and everyone is taking care of the bounty of the Subaru bumpers that are hunting for them.
Well, here's a question for you, Hal.
Yes.
If you had a choice, would you rather be eaten unceremoniously by wolves or by those turkey vultures?
I have to pick between those two?
Yes.
I feel like the wolves would be over quicker.
Yeah.
Like a bird. I remember an episode of Tales from the Crypt with Kyle MacLachlan where he is a convict who's trying to escape, and like he cuts off his own hand to get out of the handcuffs, but eventually winds up in the desert, like trapped. And I feel like a bird picks out his eye, and he's well alive for it. And if that is not what happened, then that is the Night Vale version in my head of what happened, and I don't want that at all. Please be quick. I would like put milk bones on the areas of my body where I would die the quickest and go, come on, wolves, let's go. Do wolves like milk bones? Just to be, I'm not a scientist.
I'm sure.
I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't they? Sure. Look, I feel like birds are terrible. So
you're going to go with the wolves?
I'm going to go with the wolves. I just hate birds. And I'm not even gonna apologize for that. I hate them because I think they're gross.
Is that something you've had to apologize for?
I try not to be a bird apologist. But some people are like, I love birds. And I'm like, why? They're dinosaurs. They're horrible dinosaurs. And they poop in their own water. I'm sorry. That's gross.
It is gross. I like birds. Not like birds, but I like birds. No, I'm going to say it. I like birds. Birds are super weird. I'll say that. They're scary and they're creepy and they're weird. And right now there's a robin that lives on my windowsill that just pecks at the glass all day. And it's super annoying, but they're living their life. I think I'd go with the birds. There's this practice of burial that's called an air burial, where your body is left out in a place where the vultures can get to it. And so the vultures, like, that's just how your remains are buried, is that they're eaten slowly by vultures and birds. And I think that's kind of cool.
Girl, what the fuck? No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. You're already dead.
Oh, you're already dead. I thought you were going to be like, just like out there, like tied to some stakes, and they're just like slowly pecking you to death. That'd be horrible.
No, that's a bad way to die. But I think, if you're gonna like your worm food or your bird food.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Going back to nature. I have always said this to my friends, but I will now make this public knowledge. If and when I ever die, and I say if because I choose to be a vampire if that is possible for me. I would, if and when I die, I would like to be shot into the sun, if that's a possible thing. Number one. Number two, if I can't be shot into the sun, hey, it'll be energy for the sun. Let's be real, right? If I can't be shot in the sun, I would like to be buried in one of those tree things where you become a tree.
Okay.
You're like in a pod. That one. Okay. Otherwise, I would just want to be burnt up, cremated, and then just spread around. Because I think burying is a waste
Symphony,
of space.
What is the fifth thing after all those others that you would want to happen? There's so many different... vampire... Wait, let me make sure I have the order right. I want to get the order right.
Yes.
Vampire's number one.
Yes.
Then, if not vampire, shot into the sun.
Correct.
If not shot into the sun, what was the third one? I'm sorry.
Made into a tree.
The tree.
Oh, that's right.
The tree.
Inside a tree. After that,
cremation.
If no
regular old boring cremation.
If we don't have any fire available, then the next thing is...
Can we do the bird funeral?
Mannequin.
No. The next thing, if you can't do just regular cremation, I want a Viking funeral wrapped up on like a boat thing.
Yeah.
And you push the boat out onto the water and shoot a fire arrow through the air onto the boat, and it bursts into flames, and then you burn up on the water. What a ceremony.
We did that for my sister's fish.
Shut up. You did not. Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you fire a match at it?
Yeah, no, we made a little boat and we put a fire starter in the boat, and it was middle of winter, and we were like, I say like my sister's fish, like we were in our 20s, like firmly in mid-20s when we were doing this. We were not.
This was not like 7 years old. You're like, no.
We were adults at that point. We were paying taxes and had 401ks and shit. And we went out and it was in the middle of winter. It was so cold. We went in the middle of the night to the Verona Park, and the lake was partially frozen. We found a spot where the lake wasn't frozen, and then launched the Viking funeral for my sister's fish, Sid.
That's fantastic.
Wonderful.
She loved that fish. She took that fish. She moved that fish several times. So that fish had been with her. His name was Sid Fishes, R.I.P.
Oh yes, Sid Fishes.
Anyway, now that we've talked about death and cremation, I think that this is a particularly food-heavy episode of Welcome to Night Vale. There's the talk about the food truck festival with the veal ice cream. There's the entrance of the dry scones, the so oft quoted dry scones. Steve Carlsberg dry scones,
you make
one
bad
and the same
scones.
And then there's the whole Subway ad. There's the harlot sandwich.
The turkey sandwich. There's right?
Yeah. There's the desert flower wings. It's like someone was hungry when they were writing this.
Well, I'm hungry after listening to it because I love all of those foods, except for Subway.
Did you clock that thing in the Subway ad, though, where they talk about the reverse colonic?
Yes. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, no. I was listening to it, and I was, like, walking around, and I was like, oh, wait, does poop go in your butt? And I was like, oh, no. So that was my whole experience with that.
It's the colonic. It's the colon hydrotherapy,
which has changed Meg and I's life, and we're trying to get Hal in on this.
Wait, now this is
trying to evangelize it.
This is where the water goes in my pooper, and then
it's very cleansing.
I'm not
It makes you feel great about your body.
Listen, I have given myself enemas before. I'm so glad.
It's not the same.
I'm so glad this podcast exists so I can talk about my enemas.
Yeah.
The ones you've given yourself.
Point is, I've had liquids squirted up there, but this sounds like a power washing, and I don't know if I'm into that.
It's not that intense. It's not like that much pressure.
It can be if you allow it to be that.
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
I think if you let it build up. We had a very positive experience, Symphony and I and
Cecil.
You're just going to name him. I was going to say another unnamed member of this.
He would not.
I think he'd own it.
I don't think he'd be upset about it.
I would have guessed that anyway. I mean, not saying it out loud. I feel like I already knew.
Cecil, did we talk about this on the show already? Cecil wanted to go for his birthday one year, and the three of us went.
Where did you go?
I think we talked about this already? We played chicken.
I don't think so.
Cecil was like, I want to do this thing for my birthday, and kind of as a joke. And the three of us were just like, we played reverse colonic chicken until we were literally lowering myself onto the table, where I was like, I guess this is happening.
How long does it take?
And it made for the best story.
We were there for an hour.
An hour, yeah.
You the process takes an hour, or you walk in at 1 o'clock, you walk out at 2. How long is how long?
30 to 45 minutes, I would say. You're in the room and getting on the table. You're probably on the table 30 to 35 minutes. But there's stuff that happens in between, you're laying there, you're contemplating your life, you're contemplating all the food you've eaten. I was sweated and then was cold and then sweated again, but I felt like it was very cleansing, and I felt more connected with my body. And it's what started as a joke became very, very serious.
It did. It was we laughed about it for 2 weeks leading up to it, and we thought it was the funniest thing. And we told everyone, and we giggled about it. And then after it happened, we were stone cold serious about it.
If Lori had asked us to join a cult at that moment, we would have been like, yes.
Lori was our colon hydrotherapist. And she seriously, she said things to me there that I take with me, that I carry with me. That woman is in my heart. She was in my butt and she's in my heart.
So if she had talked to you afterwards and said, you have to come to the Yellow Deli where I work when I'm not here.
Which we've been to a number of times.
One of the most surreal experience, my favorite, you all talked it up on the way there, and it met.
I think it paid off.
It did pay off. It's very rare that something is talked up and then you do it and it lives up to how it is talked up. This 100% was.
We're talking about the Yellow Deli, which is a chain of. There's one. We went to the one in Oneonta, as it is. We were on our way to Ithaca from Albany, and that is in the middle of that. And the Yellow Deli is a fine establishment to get lunch, to contemplate what being a sister wife might be like, and to potentially consider joining a cult.
We've almost lost a couple of assistant tour managers who are particularly susceptible to cult ideology.
Yes, at the Yellow Deli. But yeah, if Lori was like, listen, it's time to go to the Yellow Deli, I'd be like, you know what, Lori, you really helped me today. And I came in here making fun of this. And now I see that the joke is on me. I didn't fart for a full 24 hours after that.
Oh, I can't. I'm out. I can't. Please, why?
It wasn't because you didn't, you couldn't. Well, not because you, it was just because, literally there was nothing there to fart out. You don't realize how much gas is inside your body and is causing you distress, stomach distress or anything like that, until you have this done. And you're like, whoa, my stomach hurts a lot more than I thought it did. And it just really changed my life. Speaking of things that changed our lives, in this episode, the Pink Floyd Laser Light Show. Has anyone ever been to one of those?
No.
No.
I want to go to one so bad.
I have a group of friends that I've had, the most recent of which I met in 1991. And we would spend our summers when we were all home from college trying to figure out what to do. And we would just all sit around and go, we should do something. What do you want to do? And then we'd wind up going to like Bennigan's or something to eat dinner, or Houlihan's.
Yes.
I'll tell you, that fucking Pink Lloyd laser light show was always on the menu. It seemed to be happening every single night in Philadelphia, and we never went once.
It was the Shen Yun of the late 90s.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really glad that the Night Vale City Council is into that, or they say that they're not.
Right. Well, they said that because that was the explanation for the lights that were going on in Radon Canyon. And then later on, we find out that it is not that they're saying that was not the thing. But who knows with the city council? I think they're a bunch of liars.
I love the idea that they're trying to have a seance for Sid Barrett. Love this specificity. Good job, boys. Specificity always wins. Always wins.
Yes, lots of good specificity. I like this section that they're talking about the people who are in the prison for voting improperly. They now get HBO, which is brings me into the whole like that certain dialogue that people like to spout that like, well, being in prison is easy. They have libraries and they can watch TV and this and that, and then it's just like, oh no. Prison is hell. We're executing one person a day for voting improperly, and we'll do that until people start voting properly. So it sets up that whole just pokes a sharp stick at the prison's easy thing in a really interesting way.
Let's talk about since people can go into this sort of imprisonment for improper voting, which is already a dystopian sort of autocratic society sort of thing. Let's also talk about the idea of all these banned items, including writing utensils, which is great, and Cecil not wanting to rat out the people that are using those writing utensils. Are you showing me your writing utensil right now?
Oh, that's right. We're on camera. I'm just pulling out on my desk. I have a gift from a fan that is a pencil. That's a mechanical pencil that I still use that says banned item on it.
That's fantastic.
Putting it back away.
You know what? I don't know about you guys, but like when people give us stuff, especially if it's super awesome and very creative, like I keep it.
Oh, yeah. I try to keep as many of the gifts as possible.
Right.
I'm looking around my office right now, and there's like a really nice little cross stitch that I have, and I just pulled that pen out. Like there's really nice things. We really try to hang on to as much stuff as possible. I mean, I think we've talked about that. My whole house is full of those deer paintings.
Right.
So like we do, I try to hang on to this. A lot of times like we can't because we have to, only we can fit so much
Space
on airplanes.
Issues, yeah.
And sometimes I like get into knockdown drag out fights with people who work for Ryanair about weights of suitcases. So know that we really want to take as much as we can, but sometimes we have to jettison some really great stuff because of travel constraints. But when we don't have travel constraints, like after that 2-month tour, we had the van the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone had like their little hoarder stash in the van. Everyone had like a little corner that was like, oh, don't go under that seat. That's my under the seat. And like under
You had that taxidermied bat for like a month and a half in there.
Yeah. It was Joseph's birthday present.
I have a fan, I think this was a New York show, gave me a really nice hand-drawn picture of me that I put on, it's at my desk at work. And for several years on my desk at work was a Hiram McDaniel. It was a 5-headed dragon that had been hand-painted by a fan. And I gave that, when I had an intern one summer, she was a Night Vale fan, and I gave her the Hiram McDaniel as a gift. So I gifted it.
Once again, proving that Hal Lublin is the sweetest mush there is on this planet.
Grade A, sweetest mush.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, you may be a sweetheart, mushy ball, doll face baby, but our friend Steve Carlsberg makes terrible scones.
Unreliable narrator. Unreliable. We'll learn later on how hard he works.
But Steve, do you really? Sorry, Steve. Wow, Hal. I can separate you from
Is Steve here? Can I speak with Steve?
I actually hate when people do that. That's so annoying. You're like, no, I'm a person. But like, do you think, I mean, Steve Carlsberg has shown himself, yes, he does have like obviously some skill sets, and there's things about him where Cecil may think it's all really crappy. Also, Cecil has a weird skewed vision of like the world. But do you really think your scones are good?
I look, in my mind, Steve Carlsberg is the hero of Welcome to Night Vale. He's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern off on the side. He's a good person. His intentions are good. It's hard to tell. And I say that because I've kind of wanted to make scones for a while. Maybe at some point as a special thing, I'll do like a live stream or something somewhere for Night Vale fans where I will make orange scones live for the very first time from scratch. But it's possible. It's possible that they're bad. Like Cecil can be an unreliable narrator, but he can't be wrong about everything.
Yes.
You know, like the Corolla probably is in bad shape, but maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe the scones aren't good. Maybe we've never heard from anybody else about the scones except for Steve.
But so he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He brings scones to a meeting.
Yes.
And Cecil's like, well, they sucked. Like, well, yeah, this nice free thing, this free gesture that I did for you. I went out of my way to bake something for this freaking PTA meeting, which I'm being a good parent and being at. And I made something, and you're like, well, they suck.
That's right.
Like, who's the dick there? Who's the, like, that's you're showing your true colors there when you're complaining about like a really nice gesture.
Yes. Meg gets it.
Be polite and eat the damn scones. I mean, listen, It's a scone. It's butter and flour and sugar. How bad could it be?
Just that combination in a bowl, I would probably just like eat.
I recently made scones.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I made them for the royal wedding.
Aren't scones always kind of dry? Isn't that sort of like one of the signature pieces of a scone?
But then you add, you're supposed to add, you add the clotted cream and like the jam and stuff. Yeah. As Mary Berry would say, flaky.
Yeah, I use the America's Test Kitchen recipe, which is a recipe where you do you grate the cold butter and then you do a lamination, which gives you good layers of butteriness.
Lovely layers.
But I'll say this also: I also have made the Trader Joe's just add water scones, and they're really good. So
I think it's kind of hard to mess up a scone. I mean, I guess if dry is dry, but like. Also, maybe Cecil adds some stuff to it. So that's where we'll leave that, I guess.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else, or do we want to move boldly forward?
I'm just going to say a couple of things. Number one, the traffic section, I thought the prose or the allegory, I guess. What is that term? Because they talk about the traffic and it's like a story. It's like about someone kind of, I don't know what the term is, the writing term, because I am not a smart person like that, but I really liked it. I thought it told a story and it made me feel feelings. Secondly, my last thing that I'm going to say is I want to, do we have a shirt with the turkey sandwich that says harlot on it?
No, but I want it. Because
I want it real bad. So make a note for Adam Cecil.
Yeah, tell Adam Cecil. Our artwork already exists. Jessica Hayworth did a really nice drawing of that.
Right? It's lovely. And but like literally, I just want that on a t-shirt. Like this. First of all, it looks delicious. Also, can I get what is that? Branding iron that says harlot on it?
Ooh. I think that should be a piece of our Good Morning Night Vale merch. Should be the harlot sandwich t-shirt.
That's right.
I think that would be fantastic.
All right. So this is where we would normally talk about the weather and tease that we're going to talk to our special guest after, but not this time. Our special guest is the weather. So when we come back, we will go to our conversation about the weather and many other things with our guest, Danny Schmidt.
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
I love not just representing myself, but also the weather. That's a lot of responsibility. Thank you, guys.
Yes, it's so exciting. So, Danny Schmidt, welcome to Good Morning Night Vale. Thank you so much for being a guest on this episode 8, where we talk about the lights in Radon Canyon, and we talk about the weather that you made for us, that you made before us, but we took it and then we claimed it as our own. So
you claimed the weather as your own. It's my pleasure to be with y'all. I'm excited. The show exists now, and I'm excited to get to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So, Danny, we tend to ask a lot of our guests, where were you in your career, in your life, at this point in Night Vale when you were asked to be a part of the weather?
Yeah, it's funny. In prep for this show, I actually dug back through my email to see what my first contact was with Joseph and try to remember what was going on. It was like May of 2012, I guess. 2011, 2012, I think. And this out of this blue, this funny guy from Brooklyn reaching out and saying, I forget the title's like something like, "We're making a podcast!" ! And it's like, and it's doing well. We're up to 200 something listeners. And then he described the show in a way that didn't make any sense to me at all. But I was like, absolutely, I'm on board. That sounds great. And I wrote back something about how wonderful the internet was, that it was like this kind of blank canvas for people to try things. I think one of the parts, he ended his description of the podcast saying, I don't think anything like this exists on the internet yet, or something. And which is funny. A funny statement now that I know the show, because he was absolutely right. Nothing like this existed on the internet, and apparently the internet was ready for it.
Just in time. We got in just in time.
Yeah.
So let's chat a little bit about This Too Shall Fast. Nope. This Too Shall Pass is what we call that song. And I just got to hear you do that live in Chicago when you performed as a part of the I Only Listen to Mountain Goats live show. And it's such an incredible, incredible song. And I felt that way about this song since I first heard it all those years ago. And so can you talk a little bit about the creation of that song and what it means to you and what it's about for you?
Yeah, as far as its genesis goes, it was a little more complex than most songs, because it kind of came from 2 episodes in my life, intertwining. One was I had a friend who is an artisan, a crafter and painter and jewelry maker, and she is also bipolar, and at one point in her life kind of spiraled out of control, and I went and visited her at the hospital. She was in the hospital getting stable and was there for about a month. And at the point that I saw her, she was doing great. And I happened to notice that on her finger she had made a ring for herself that said, "This too shall pass." And I noticed it and made some comment, and it seemed like a nice thing for her to have made. And but I actually didn't really know that much about the story where that phrase came from. But like a week later, after I was visiting her, I came across in this novel I was reading, there was a sort of Bedouin tribe retelling that story together around a campfire. And I guess I don't even honestly know the origination of the "This Too Shall Pass" parable. I think it was Old Testament somewhere, but the story basically being that there was this king that was sort of off the handle high and off the handle low. He just had extreme mood swings, and he asked his magicians if they could conjure him up some kind of magical item to help him keep his equanimity. And they came back with this ring, which obviously wasn't magical. It just had this saying on it, "This too shall pass." The sort of implication being that the phrase itself is somewhat magical, that it says so much about our transient nature here, and that whatever we're feeling or experiencing right this second is not what we're going to be seeing or experiencing 10 minutes from now or a year from now. And so it's a lot, as a way to keep us from getting too excited when things are good, and as a way to keep us from getting too down when things are bad. And so I sent her that book because it seemed perfectly fitting to her situation as soon as I saw all that. And then about 6 months later, I got sick and kind of had to take a year off of my endeavors, and she sent me my own version of the ring. And so it was when I got that I wrote the song "This Too Shall Pass," and it weaves in and out of the story, the sort of biblical tale, and then also some of my reflections about trying to deal with cancer and get my mind around it, and somewhere between agnostic and atheist. You know, I didn't have God to fall back on in that moment, like some people do. And it made me confront some of my own thoughts about humanism and biology and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot to connect to in that song. I find myself listening to it, and I'm a person who luckily has never had any major health problems, but I listen to it and I find so much empathy there, and there's so much good life lessons that connect through it. Like the part where you talk about killing it like a buffalo. With
awe and with respect.
With awe and with respect. And it's just it's such an interesting way to look at something that is so scary and so dangerous, but because of that, we respect it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, if I can make the God comparison again, we you know how the football players are always thanking Jesus for their 3-touchdown game and stuff. And my team had a quarterback a few years ago who got injured in the first quarter of the biggest game of the year, and he was heartbroken. Like you could just he was just in tears after the game. They were talking to him, and the first thing he did was he said, I don't understand it, but I want to thank God for this. I don't know why this happened. This feels terrible, but I thank him in the good stuff, and I'm going to thank him in the bad stuff. And I liked the consistency of that, and I felt some of that same thing when I was going through all that. Like, I'm a believer in biology. I'm a believer in evolution and the power of that, and you can't cast off those beliefs when things go bad. It's almost you kind of double down on them and find a way that they make sense in the framework that you say you've believed in your whole life. And that's kind of how I was feeling about those kind of rogue cells. It's like they're doing what everything else in biology is trying to do. They're trying to conquer their little tiny environment
and multiply and just keep on keeping on. But in turn, it's affecting you in a bad way.
Yeah. Right. And at the same time, it made me reflect little bit on when it's affecting me, quote unquote, in a bad way. It's like, well, what is me? Me is just this collection of little cells that are each doing their own thing for their own survival. And when all the pieces are doing that and it's working, it's like it makes this greater being that we call a human. So, yeah, I got a little philosophical on it all.
Yeah, there's another lesson from that song that I take a lot. I myself am an atheist baby and agnostic. And when people say that they're praying for you, it's like I never knew what to do with that until I listened to the song. And I was like, oh, you can, I never prayed. What is tell me the line. It's I never prayed to those except for those that prayed for me, or I'm getting that wrong.
Something like that. I can never remember them from the middle. I can start from the beginning of a verse and sing it. But something.
I never prayed myself except for those that prayed to me, or prayed for me. Yeah, we're just gonna butcher your gorgeous lyrics, but yeah, it's like it gives you some place to put that where it's like I'm not praying to anything, but I do believe in the power of people giving a shit about me and thinking about me.
Yeah, I was never more in touch with my community and how supportive, genuinely supportive, the community was as in that moment. So because I had exactly the same feelings. That lots of people telling me they're praying for me, and I was like, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't believe in any of that, but I sure like that you care that much to share your thoughts with me and spend a moment of your energy thinking about me and my health. That means a lot.
I love this song, obviously, as we all do. But you've also toured with us a few times. Solo, you've toured with us with your wife, Carrie. And all the times I've heard you play this song, it's always still haunting and beautiful. How do you get yourself? Do you feel like you feel that in that song, or are you just letting the music wash over you?
That's a good question. I guess it depends a little bit night to night. You know how it is, how performing is. Sometimes you're very present, and sometimes you're a little spaced out and stuff like that. It's one of those cases where I think performance anxiety serves me. I get very nervous before singing, and one of the ways that I've dealt with that is close my eyes and sort of focus internally on the song. And sometimes, especially the more nervous I am, sometimes like I can get hyper present with the song and sort of like re-experience the lines. Where you would think, you know, how it is with a script for you guys, like at some point the script kind of turns to autopilot and rote. But then sometimes you're like kind of back super present with them and you're in touch with the emotion behind those words and stuff. And that happens to me when I get nervous up in front of people. I kind of close them off and move inward on the song.
Yeah, I have a similar experience to that sometimes because you do kind of get into the autopilot of the script, but sometimes when like an environment changes, like it happens to me when we go to perform for a different culture of people. So like when we go to Europe, they react with a different way, and so that kind of takes me out of my autopilot. And I find that when we come back from Europe, my performance is so much better and changed because I've had that audience that like kind of, you know, knocked it around a little bit and made me rethink and take the next step from an acting choice standpoint. So
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've had the same experience going to Europe, actually, especially because different parts of Europe, like go to the Netherlands and their English, their capacity to sort of dissect the subtleties of the language is probably better than ours. But you go to Italy where the English isn't as good and they're connecting with the music in a totally different way. They're connecting with it on this kind of kinetic, energetic level. And so then you as the performer, you know how it is, like performing is this kind of give and take relationship with the energy that's coming back at you. Even if it's a dead silent audience, there's different kinds of silences and you can feel the energy differently. And you're in a place where the language isn't as big a connector, and all of a sudden you're more in touch with the music and the kinetic part of the music. And yeah, like you said, you come back to the States with that and you're performing totally different.
Yeah, you learn so much.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm curious, talking about this specific episode, did you listen to it when it first came out just to sort of be like, what is my music a part of? And when you first listened to it, what did you think about where it fit and sort of how did you connect with Welcome to Night Vale that first time?
When Joseph first reached out to me, I think y'all had only recorded the pilot at that moment in time, so I had that one. And then I don't think I listened to any of them until he sent me notice about this episode, and then I listened and then went back and listened. And it's tricky when you're jumping into the middle of it because there's so much non sequitur to it anyway. So I wasn't sure at first how much was continuing lines of narrative that I just wasn't privy to because I hadn't started from the beginning, right. Or if it was just part of the humor of it was that it can jump from left field to right field any moment in time. And then I also remember, you know, when your music is part of something, you want to help cross-promote it. And so he told me the episode had dropped, and so I was on my social media trying to figure out how to frame Night Vale for people that didn't know anything about Night Vale. To be fair to it, like I want, you know, and you know, which is, you know, there's gonna be a lot of old fogies in my social media list, and it's like this is gonna be a new experience for them, and how to couch it in a way that they have some expectation of what they're going to get and will enjoy it.
So what was the pitch?
I'm sure it had something to do with sort of talking about non sequitur humor and sort of a spirit of nihilism with moralism kind of mixed in, which I think that's one of my favorite elements of the show. I've always loved that part of it, how it reinforces this notion that I've always felt, and I think a lot of people obviously do, they've connected with the show, that this sort of senselessness, but it's also very loving and moral at the same time. And I love that balance of the show. And I'm sure I pitched that because that's always attracted me.
So did you do a re-listen for this episode?
Yeah, I did.
What were your reactions to it?
Well, one thing was that, so I was listening, but I was also chasing Maisie, my year and a half old, at the same time. And it made me, I had to push the back 30 seconds button about 25 times because it made me realize, like, this is not a show that you can kind of half listen to. Like, there's so much subtlety in the language they choose, in the little dry jokes and stuff like that. If you're not fully listening, you're missing a lot of it.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
When I do my re-listen, I also read it at the same time just to make
Yeah.
sure. So like we're really diving deep into what's going on.
This
here.
is an ignorant question, but are the scripts available online for anybody to do that, or do you have special privilege because you're married to the writer?
Oh no, we have the books. We have. Oh, go ahead.
Right. There's the book. There's not just the novel, but there's the books with all the scripts.
Yeah,
we have the
yeah.
transcripts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we pitch the books a lot on this podcast because it's like we really do, but you really do
We
learn a
use
lot.
them.
We really do. We use them, and then they're great. So
You two do. I feel like this is where I learned how bad of a student I was in high school. Like, I never really thought about it until it was like, oh, right, there's a textbook for this. And I could have made this a lot easier to continue to follow. Because, Danny, you make a really great point, is that there are so many little nooks and crannies that you'll miss if there's anything else going on while you're listening to it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people write in a kind of way, if not cliches in actual phrasing, but cliches in sort of trains of thought. So you can kind of pop in and out of it, and you kind of know where they're going when they start going there, and you can kind of tune back in 3 seconds later and tune back in 3 seconds, and you know where the train's going. Right. And that is not the case for Night Vale.
Yeah.
It might start in one direction only to try to want to take you this other direction.
And then you realize it's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap. It's all a trap.
A whole log. That is not just a ham hanging from a tree that you can eat. There's a net. There's always a net, everybody. If there's one thing that this podcast can teach you, is that there's always a net.
Yep. There's never just a free hanging ham.
Never. Free hanging ham is another great song title for you. If you ever want to use it to write a song, it's there. I have one other question, which is, as someone now who you've been involved with the show pretty much since the beginning, is there like a Night Vale bump that happens now when you're outside, not performing with the show? If you're out doing performance on your own, are there Night Vale people who will come and discover your music? Have you noticed, like, what's that effect?
Definitely. And in Night Vale, as a broad generality, listen through different avenues than, the folky crowd will and stuff like that. So you can see the metrics from different sources. That's different. And then it's just, often, Night Vale crowd's a pretty interesting group of folks. And, I love meeting them at shows. They're different than my old folky audience who I also love and are interesting, but it's nice to broaden that. When I was digging back through the emails with Joseph, about a year after those first initial emails, he'd written back to me about something, I don't remember what, but it was right when things like really took off for the show, and he'd quit his job and was full-time writing. I think you guys were all working full-time with it. And but I got a long note from a buddy of mine in Portland whose daughter, 14-year-old daughter, was a major lover of the show. Like, she was a huge fan of the show. And she heard my music on the show, and she knew me from when I stayed with them when I passed through Oregon. And all of a sudden it was like, whoa, Dad's friend is awesome. He was on Night Vale, and therefore Dad is awesome because he knows this guy who knows these people, and like, she was just like aglow about the whole thing. And he wrote to me to tell me how cool he was all of a sudden with his daughter and her friends,
making dads cool all across this country.
Exactly.
And you're a dad, Danny. And actually, I remember during one of our tours when Carrie was pregnant and you guys were touring with us, that you guys actually you were trying to crowdsource her name.
That was Carrie's idea.
I thought it was
take no
hilarious.
credit or responsibility for that. It was fun. We would get some pretty creative offers at the merch table. People would come up with their suggestions. We kind of knew our girl name already, so we didn't take any of the girls too seriously because Carrie, and we ended up having a girl, so we named her for Carrie's grandma. But we got a great list. We have the list somewhere.
That's great.
You guys have some creative fans.
We sure do. We sure do. So this episode is going to air on July 26th, and you have a new album coming out in August, yeah?
I have a single coming out, which actually was a song I was debuting when I was on tour with y'all last time. That Standard Deviation song is going to be, it's a finished single, and then while I'm finishing up the rest of the record, which will be out. So I think it's going to be about August 1st, and that the single will come, and then the rest of the record will come January probably.
Oh, cool. Great. I'm super excited to see the new recording of that single. I loved listening to that song when you and Carrie were playing it back in, was it 2016 on the road, that tour?
Yes. Because, she was just pregnant. So it would have been like
the
February,
Tour of Wings.
March.
The Tour of Wings, yes. The first time I met you and Carrie, we were in Seattle, and it was like, you happened to be in town, and we happened to be in town, and I remember thinking about how cool Carrie was, because we went out and got burgers, and she just this gorgeous woman just sat down and ate a burger and dipped the whole thing in buffalo sauce, got a coffee cup of buffalo sauce to dip her burger in. And I was like,
she's a freak of nature. She's like 90 pounds, And when she was 13, she was a nationally competitive acro gymnast on a meet down in northern Texas, West Texas. They stopped off in Amarillo, that home of the I don't remember what the name of the steak is. It's like a 7-pound steak, and if you can eat the whole thing, they'll give it to you for free, which no one can. Yeah, it's like these 400-pound truckers. Occasionally, one of them can do it, and this she must have weighed 60 pounds maybe at 13, and she downed the whole thing.
No.
And yeah.
Wow.
She walked away with more than 10% of her body weight being the steak she just ate.
They put you on a stage in that restaurant. You eat it on a stage. They're like, you want to do this? Get in the stocks and eat your meal in front of the whole town.
And apparently she was next to or across from a table up there with one of the giant trucker guys who got maybe halfway through and failed, and she's just like,
I would pay money to see a video of that.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a reenactment probably next time we're on tour together.
I'm holding you to that.
Thank you so much for joining us on Good Morning Night Vale, Danny. It's really great to hear from you.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing the show, and thank you for including me. It's good to see your faces. I guess it's an audio podcast, so the listeners can't see our faces, but I can see your faces. Yeah. They're good faces, great faces.
What a good collection of faces in general. This is just a good 4-face combo we have going on.
That can be your subtitle, good people with great faces. For radio.
Perfect. They got a face for radio, but in a good way.
Folks, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Good Morning Night Vale. The sun is starting to rise to noon, so that means the morning is over, but we will be back next week with episode 9, that is Pyramid, and we will hear from you, the Night Vale listeners, about your theories, your questions, and your comments. So send them in, keep them coming. We'll see you next time, and until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Hal Lublin, and Meg Bashwiner. It is edited by Grant Stewart. It is mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our guest this week, Danny Schmidt. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to tell us which host you would eat first if trapped in a desert island scenario. For more information on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Christy Gressman, Jeffrey Craner, Joseph Fink, and Adam Cecil. Today's adverb is abruptly. The show ended abrupt.